The Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu, who's on the Judiciary Committee. And Congressman, let me just get your reaction. You heard what Evan's reporting. Obviously, he's been cooperating here since, for what, 6 months plus. So they still think they can get more information. Evan's saying this could mean there's a couple more shoes to drop. This is the third time they've delayed Flynn's sentencing. Do you think there are more shoes to drop?
I do, and thank you, Erin, for your question. As a former prosecutor, what this tells me is that the special counsel's investigation is far from over. They're still investigating elements for which they need Michael Flynn's cooperation. And with every new witness they interview and every new document they get, it opens up new leads. So the best thing we can do for our nation is to let this investigation proceed to its conclusion without any political interference.
But when you say far from over, you think then overall the Russia investigation into meddling and collusion by the Trump campaign itself is far from over. You do not expect something announced in the next couple of months or before the election.
I do not. It's certainly possible, but with every passing month, you see they're interviewing additional witnesses. They're getting additional documents. So I don't think it's wrapping up anytime soon.
I want to ask you, though, when we talk about Flynn, they requested a delay tonight. This is the third time. Two other defendants in the special counsel's investigation, though, are going to be sentenced. Campaign aide George Papadopoulos, they have not asked for that to be delayed again. That's now set for September 7th. And according to, obviously, the timeline we have, he's sort of his meeting with the Australian ambassador in the UK, where he talked about what Russians offered him, sort of started this whole thing. Richard Pinedo is an auctioneer for fake IDs. He's going to be sentenced this fall for identity fraud. They haven't asked again for a delay for that. Does that counter what you're saying at all?
I don't think so, because there are a lot of different crimes that occurred in 2016. The fake ID is a separate, segregated issue.
Yeah.
And George Papadopoulos, while he was not a coffee boy, he was fairly significant. He also wasn't Trump's former national security advisor. He wasn't as high up as Michael Flynn. And so I can see why they still need information from Michael Flynn, but not George Papadopoulos.
So let me ask you about another development in the Russia investigation today, which was really shocking, frankly. We found out that Bob Mueller and his team and the FBI learned about a storage locker that had 30 years of business records from Paul Manafort, right, who they're going after with every single thing that they've got. But they learned about this storage locker with 30 years of records from an Associated Press report. This isn't just a report now about that. This is an FBI agent's testimony in federal court, that's how they found out about the storage locker. Does that worry you at all, that Bob Mueller would find out about something so significant and so huge from an Associated Press report?
Right. No, what it first of all tells me is thank goodness for the free press. Thank goodness for the First Amendment. And one of the greatest watchdogs for private and public corruption is the free press. And oftentimes the press will find information that the Department of Justice may not have. And I think this is a symbol of a vibrant democracy.
The New York Times is also reporting tonight that right after FBI Director Comey was fired, the Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who of course the president, blamed all this on, right, blamed it on his letter, that Rosenstein repeatedly was angry. He was angry, and he kept talking about how the White House used him. The word used is the word that's out there to rationalize the firing. And now the DOJ denies this. They say that Rosenstein did not feel this way. You were with him yesterday. He was testifying before your committee, Congressman. Do you think he felt used by the White House or not?
I do. Rod Rosenstein has done a good job of protecting the Department of Justice from political interference by my Republican colleagues. In terms of the Comey firing, Mr. Rosenstein has every right to be angry. Donald Trump should have told him he was going to fire Comey because of the Russia investigation. Instead, he told Rosenstein to write a memo. He then used that memo as a fake cover story for the actual reason for the firing. So Mr. Rosenstein has every right to feel used and to be angry.
All right. Thank you very much. And of course, I should point out you're referring to what the president then said in an interview to Lester Holt, where he made it very clear Russia was the reason.
He said that on national TV. Yes,
he did. All right, Congress.